Hello, I'm Simon Everson, and in this edition of Property Box News, we'll be looking at what Community Secretary Sajid Javid has been proposing recently, and also how you can deal with the new lending criteria for portfolio landlords. First, Javid, speaking on BBC's Andrew Marr show, proposed the government should borrow to the tune of £50 billion to boost house building in this country and take advantage of record low interest rates. Mr Javid said successive governments had failed to build enough homes and that the housing crisis Britain faced was the biggest barrier to social progress in our country today. He highlighted what we already know, that nearly 300,000 homes need to be built for successive years to meet demands. It seemed then that the government was changing its stance on austerity and balancing the books. When asked why the Tories are changing their tone, he said a distinction should be drawn between vitally important deficit reduction and investing for the future in housing and infrastructure. This comes after recent announcements by the government that include a pledge by Theresa May at the Conservative Party conference of an extra £2 billion to build an additional 25,000 social homes. And last month, Mr Javid promised a top-to-bottom review of social housing in the UK. Earlier this year, the government unveiled a new housing strategy for England, which included giving councils powers to pressurise developers to start building on land they own and building more affordable homes to buy and rent. However, Chancellor Philip Hammond days later rejected Javid's suggestion and insisted it was not government policy to borrow for building. Of course, the autumn budget is not far off, and I'm sure Mr Hammond will have his own announcements around housing to make. Sajid Javid, meanwhile, also announced he wants to make house buying cheaper, faster and less stressful, and will launch a probe into gazumping, the bane of all house buyers' lives, where a seller accepts a higher offer from a new bidder. The probe will also look into estate agent dodgy dealings and bad practices in a hope that the buyer has an easier time of it and can concentrate on looking for that dream home, or, from the investor point of view, looking for the next deal. Over the next 8 weeks, Javid has called for evidence from estate agents, solicitors and mortgage lenders. He specifically wants their views on the aforementioned gazumping, as well as trust building, digital innovation within the industry and information gathering. The problem is, this is another consultation that may or may not lead to naught. Writing for estateagenttoday.com, Graham Norwood points out consultation is not an end in itself. It's not a substitute for action, as increasingly seems the case. I mean, let's not forget, the announcement of banning letting agent fees was 48 weeks ago at the time of filming, and the consultation has come and gone, and we know no more. It begs the question, what will happen with the findings of this latest consultation? Leave us a comment below, we'd love to hear what you think. So the controversial rollout of universal credit has gone ahead and the government is coming under increasing fire. The system has been dogged with problems and is less than perfect. Claimants have had continuous problems contacting and communicating with the administration system, and recently the government were forced to scrap the 55p per minute charge that was applied to calls to the helpline. Also, there's a 6-week waiting time for payment, and this in many cases is causing tenants to go 2 months into arrears before they make their first rental payment. Landlords are also not happy. Direct payment is extremely difficult to set up, and many landlords are saying they would not consider a prospective tenant on universal credit based on these reasons. In the Commons, the government is under further pressure to pause and fix the system. In fact, a backbench rebellion is brewing, as over 24 Tory MPs are supporting the Labour Party motions to halt universal credit. Overall, something of a messy scenario, with more developments to come, no doubt. So we want to know if you have any universal credit tenants and how you found the system. Leave a comment below and any suggestions you've got for improvements. And finally, last month the Prudential Regulation Authority tightened lending criteria for portfolio landlords. That's landlords with 4 or more properties. Consumer organisation which says a handful of buy-to-let mortgage lenders have found a way of helping these landlords borrow more than they might have expected under the tough new regulations. in a statement which says that some lenders are now offering top slicing deals which allow landlords with low rental yields to make up their shortfall through other income. They said top slicing takes a landlord's personal income, such as their salary or pension income, into consideration when assessing their affordability, rather than just looking at the profitability of their property portfolio. Which went on to say top slicing is good news for landlords buying higher value properties which might have lower rental yields, as it allows them to use external personal income to bridge any shortfall. The consumer group says currently the lenders who undertake this are Aldermore, Barclays, Bluestone, Clydesdale Bank, Coventry, Mansfield, Metro Bank, NatWest, Vida and Virgin Money. If you need more, check in with your broker and see what they can find out. That's all from me. Don't forget to leave us a comment below, and as always, like and share. See you next time. Goodbye. A nifty, what am I doing? And last month, Mr. Javid poured water. We want to know if you have had, I could have just carried on.